The Archdiocese of Milwaukee held a funeral today for former Archbishop Rembert Weakland, who died last week at the age of 95.
About a half dozen protesters gathered outside to call attention to Weakland's complicated legacy and his admitted role in the church's sexual abuse scandal. CBS 58's Adam Reif joins us to share some of those complicated emotions. Adam.
Well, Archbishop Weakland was remembered today by parishioners and by clergy as an imperfect man of faith. The church's sex abuse scandal was mentioned a few times today during that funeral mass. But survivors of sex abuse say it is still too painful, and the funeral for a man this controversial should have been held in private. As the steeple bells chimed, mourners prayed at the funeral mass for Archbishop Emeritus Rembert Weakland. But outside the Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist, there was a different kind of pain and grief.
This is really a day of shame for the Archbishop and the Archdiocese.
After retiring, Weakland admitted to covering up records of clergy sexual abuse while serving as Archbishop of Milwaukee from 1977 to 2002. Survivors said the lives of hundreds, maybe thousands of children were destroyed.
That's our cross. The knowledge that is deeply buried inside our bodies and our souls.
Jay Harvey attended the funeral mass. He's been a parishioner for more than 30 years and knew Archbishop Weakland well.
We were very blessed to have him.
But Harvey said there were complicated emotions in the pews. Weakland's role in the abuse scandal was on the minds of many.
At least we had some closure, and we do have to remember for everybody.
Victims of abuse were mentioned in the prayers of intercession.
For those whose lives are forever changed by the painful enduring of memory of sexual abuse by ministers of the church, we pray.
And in his homily, the Reverend Stephen Avella said Weakland made mistakes, as did fellow bishops and priests, adding while many people loved Weakland, some did not.
We cannot dismiss their just anger, even as we try to make sense of it all. People were hurt, lives shattered and disillusioned.
Trying to silence things.
But some people did want to dismiss the anger. A man walking past the protesters shouted they were only looking for attention.
I want to protect children.
This week, the Archdiocese said a funeral mass is not a glorification of a person's life, but an act of mercy for the dead.
He showed survivors no mercy. He didn't care about us.
The church is trying to change that perception despite not cooperating with the state's inquiry into clergy and faith leader abuse.
These things must still work themselves out. Grief and anger have no timetable, but neither do forgiveness and reconciliation.
Now, Archbishop Weakland's body will now be taken to St. Vincent Arch Abbey Cemetery in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, where he will be buried. He was 95 years old when he died. Live in Milwaukee, Adam Reif, CBS 58 News.